we have a better social life here than we actually had in Canada. We have more friends here than we had in Canada. So I think we've become more outgoing rather than sticking to ourselves. Now, we maybe, because my husband and I both work online, we maybe don't go out into the community as much because we have other time constraints, things that we have to do. That we find a lot of people, they're going out doing all kinds of activities or volunteering or being active in the community. Or a lot of people are retired or semi-retired. We're not there yet. So I think in a way that can be a little bit frustrating for us sometimes. It's not, we just can't go and do all these things.
Because you are not retired yet. You are not at the stage. Yes.
We're not retired yet. So I can't play pickleball 5 days a week. I'm sorry. I can't. We're getting left behind in our pickleball skills because we're not as good as some of the other people. But I don't think I expected to find that community here in Mexico because I didn't have that community in Canada. So I really appreciate the friends we've made here, the church we've made, the church we go to, the events out in the community that we can go to. And usually if we go to something going on in the square, if there's a festival, there's not a lot of expats there. It's a lot of locals. So we can still find, we can comfortably go to these events hosted by the locals and feel comfortable, and we can go and integrate with the expats and still feel comfortable.
Welcome to Age of Reinvention, Eco-Living, Expats, and Intentional Communities. The podcast where we explore inspiring stories and expert insights to help you navigate the exciting and transformative world of relocation abroad and expat living. Whether you are dreaming of new horizons or making new move, we are here to support and guide you if necessary. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome my friend Charlotte Tweed to the show again. Charlotte is not just an expat from Canada. She is a freedom travel coach, a community builder, and a voice of wisdom for those seeking a fresh start abroad. After spending 3 years in beautiful Ajijic in Mexico, Charlotte has gained invaluable lessons about personal reinvention, intentional living, and embracing new life's possibilities. We will be diving into her journey, exploring how expat life shaped her worldview and personal philosophy, and uncovering tips for anyone considering a relocation. Prepare for insightful conversation about transformation, freedom, and the courage to start anew. Hello, Charlotte. I'm happy again to welcome you to my Age of Reinvention studio.
Thank you, Emily. I'm happy to be here. That was such a lovely intro.
Thank you. And I was really looking forward to learn more about you. And even you're not the first time on Age of Reinvention, but before we're speaking more about freedom as a movement, speaking about your Canadian part of life. And now, after you lived in Ajijic, Mexico for 3 years, I'm really curious, how has your perspective on expat life evolved since you arrived at this known international expat hub? And for some people who don't know what we're speaking about, the place, the small city where Charlotte is living last 3 years, is located in Mexico, in Jalisco state. The name is Ajijic. And the name was known and was published in many magazines even before I started to look precisely to this topic, because I remember the strange name, the first impression, how name is strange. Now I used to it, but I'm repeating again for people to remember it. Ahihik, please tell us about you and your life in Ahihik and how your perspective on expat life changed.
I think my perspective changed coming to Ahihiki. As you had mentioned, it's a very popular destination. It's the highest concentration of American expats outside of the United States. So there's a lot of Americans here. There's a lot of Canadians here. There's German expats here. It's people almost say it's not real Mexico, it's colonized. It's different, right? It's not a vacation town. People come here to live, and there's a reason for that. And when I first started looking into Ahihik, I had the same idea going, I don't know if that's where I want to go because maybe there's too many expats. And I hear that sometimes people are, no, I don't want to be around too many expats because some expats get a bad rap. They're not necessarily the nicest people to be around. So I came here cautiously optimistic. And my view that has changed on that is I'm actually quite happy there's an expat community here. I think people have an idea, like I said, what an expat community is like. But what I have found that I appreciate by having a lot of expats around is the support. Because there's people here who know what Canadian cultures, what American cultures, what all kinds of worldly cultures are like. And they've been here, done that. A lot of these people have lived here for 20 years. And they have had almost everything happen to them in Mexico that could happen to them. And if you need help, you can go to them for help and assistance. And it's right here, right close. You can go to your neighbors. You feel at home. Like we felt at home within 3 days of being here because we didn't totally stand out. Where we were before Ahihik was we were staying in the country actually, in between two towns, one called Malinalco and Tenancingo. And we were the only gringos around. There was nobody spoke English. At that point, our Spanish was not even poquito. It was nada. It did not exist. So we were very isolated. Now, it was a wonderful place to stay at that time because we were taken out of the city, taken out of the chaos of the day, and just enjoyed the beautiful countryside. So we really enjoyed our time there, but 2 months was enough. When we came here, after being there for 2 months, we were shocked that we can understand people speaking around us. There's people speaking English. We're eavesdropping at the table in the restaurant beside us. So we felt comfortable quite quickly. And I think that's a misconception people have about becoming an expat. Two things. One, I don't want to go to a community where there's too many. And am I going to make friends? If you're worried you're going to make friends, you're going to have to go somewhere to start. And I think Ahihik having the large expat community is a good springboard for people who have never lived outside their country before, because there's a lot of like-minded people around here to help you assimilate into the culture and get used to a different country.
I absolutely agree, and I like you using the springboard because I fully understand what it's about. I was relocating twice in my life, drastic relocation, not just like cultural relocation. And for the first period of time, like adaptation period, it's very good to be in between people who had, or recently, or even before, for a long time, this expat experience. They know, they understand your challenges even without you telling it or from the small hint. And yes, I believe that I don't know if there's a big difference between, say, American expat community or Canadian, because it's more, I think, about personality connection. Yes, in this regard. But it's very good when you have people to ask question, ask for help, or even not to ask. And if there are people who are ready to help, it's a big thing when you're starting your life. But when you look now back on Charlotte of 3 years ago, what changed? Can you say, or can you share the moment or experience in Mexico that profoundly changed how you view yourself as expat?
That's a really good question. An experience that's profoundly changed my view as an expat, myself as an expat.
Yes. And your worldview, because it's all shaping. We are changing and our view of the world around us. And even it's now we're speaking expat community, and you probably didn't have yet chance. And Mexico as a country is huge. I mean, to comprehend all country, but this particular environment, can you say that it's actually community of people living in Ajijic?
Yes, there is definitely a community of people living here. And I don't know if I really expected to find that. Like I find we have a better social life here than we actually had in Canada. We have more friends here than we had in Canada. So I think we've become more outgoing rather than sticking to ourselves. Now, we maybe, because my husband and I both work online, we maybe don't go out into the community as much because we have other time constraints, things that we have to do. That we find a lot of people, they're going out doing all kinds of activities or volunteering or being active in the community. Or a lot of people are retired or semi retired. We're not there yet. So I think in a way that can be a little bit frustrating for us sometimes. It's not, we just can't go and do all these things.
Because you're not retired yet. You are not at the stage. Yes.
We're not retired yet. So I can't play pickleball 5 days a week. I'm sorry. I can't. We're getting left behind in our pickleball skills because we're not as good as some of the other people. But I don't think I expected to find that community here in Mexico because I didn't have that community in Canada. So I really appreciate the friends we've made here, the church we've made, the church we go to, the events out in the community that we can go to. And usually, if we go to something going on in the square, if there's a festival, there's not a lot of expats there. It's a lot of locals. So we can still find, we can comfortably go to these events hosted by the locals and feel comfortable, and we can go and integrate with the expats and still feel comfortable. So I didn't expect that. It's made us more outgoing and comfortable in our own skins, I guess, being out in public.
And it's excellent. It's already a huge gain. Speaking about lifestyle, speaking about your social connection. So you didn't even expect that you will get such a big circle of new and reliable friends, I would say, supporters. And I believe it's specific for Mexico because the local culture, it's not the same, but very supportive, like family oriented, and climate and all this probably works toward people being more open and helping each other. So, if you could express gratitude for one aspect of living in Ajijic, what would it be, and why does it mean so much to you?
I have a lot of things I'm very grateful for, but I think the number one thing is the climate. Look at my tan.
Yeah, I noticed it immediately. I'm here still hitting my home, and you already on a beach or on a pool.
Every morning, and I'm sure I've said this to you before, Emily, this area in Lake Chapala is known as the second best climate in the world. And it, from all my traveling I have done, I can truly say this is the best climate I have ever experienced. And leaving Canada's winters was one of my top 3 reasons to leave the country. I was just, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with the snow and the ice and for 6 months. So every morning we get up here and we're entering the hot season. So it's getting April, May are the hottest seasons here. But you open the door, the sky is blue, the birds are singing. There's no wind. It is just the most peaceful, serene feeling every morning that it just, you feel good every morning that you open that door and close the screen and just let the fresh air in. It's fabulous. I am the most grateful for that.
It's great. And actually, I have been exactly in this place in April. And I know that April and May in the middle of Mexico, it's the most hottest period. And I was very happy with the weather as well. Even for me, it was only travel, but always in this season, kind of April, May.
And it's so consistent. I've never been to or seen an event canceled due to weather. Never. I have never seen that in 3 years. There's not as many outdoor events during rainy season because rainy season's, June, July, but it usually rains in the morning. then it stops and it's sunny all day, or may rain overnight. But through the day, it's just absolutely beautiful. It's surreal. It's like living in a fairy tale with the weather. The weather is just incredible.
No, it's real for Canadians. It's real for many people living.
It's the consistency. So you're not going on it. If Canadians are watching, they'll understand. You're not going from plus 30 one day to minus 10 the next day to plus 10 the next day to down to minus 20. It's not like that at all. It's so much better for your health, for your skin, for your mood. It's incredible. That's what I'm the most grateful for.
So, based on your experience in the expat community in Ajijic and knowledge about what's going on in other expat places, I know that you are trying actually building your community, online community. It's what I feel. So, what type of community are you envision and trying to build now?
A freedom loving community, and people who are looking for that community and connecting with like minded people who have the idea of an intentional living. I love the idea still of self sufficient communities. So, where you can feed yourself, where you can support each other as a community, work together to achieve goals. That I'm a small town girl. I like the smaller, I grew up on a farm. I love the idea of that, of having communities that are small, supportive, intentional, and self sustaining.
You often talk about helping people find their freedom destination. How do you define freedom destination? And can you say that places like Ajijic are the great example?
I do think Hahik is a great example. To define what a freedom community is, it's for us, when we came here, it was really at the height of the pandemic restrictions, masking, still nobody could go anywhere. And we ended up in Mexico for that reason, that there was no restrictions to come in. To me, that is freedom, that the government is not telling you what to do and how to live. So I appreciate that about Mexico and about this area. And there's a lot of people in this area who feel the same way. They have that same libertarian type mindset where, less government to less regulations to tell me exactly what I'm doing. So for me, that's a part of the freedom aspect, is to be able to live life the way that I want to, with as little regulation as possible.
So, can I say that you already found your community of like minded people living on Ajijic, or you are still searching?
I'm always searching. I'm an adventurous person. We do really like it here. We're going to be doing a little bit more traveling again coming up. Our intention is to come back here again in the fall. We have community, we have friends here. Things do change. So Mexico has a new president now, and a lot of the expats are concerned about some of her views. So I don't think it hurts, even though we're happy here and comfortable here, to have another plan of another destination we could possibly go to. So I'm always keeping my eyes open for other like-minded people, other like-minded communities, other countries that value that freedom aspect.
So we are absolutely aligned in this regards. Even I'm still in Canada, but I keep my eyes, ears, and heart open because we live in a time of big changes and all might happen, and we are still alive. We still want to discover, to understand the world and how people are living in different places. Your journey from writing for Expats online international magazine to founding Liberty Travel Coach company seems very natural for me. But what inspired you to leap from storytelling and being kind of employee for the magazine to hands-on coaching for expats, actually to be fully entrepreneurial in this direction?
I still love storytelling. I'm a storyteller at heart, so I still love writing, and I still do that. I still do editing. But the travel coach came into being because when I was with that magazine, we would have people write to us, and it was a libertarian focused magazine. So people with a lot of that ideal and that seeking freedom as well as to where they could go. And they would write me and say, where can I go to escape the New World Order? And I felt restricted by the magazine with what what destinations I could promote or couldn't promote. And I felt like I just really couldn't help them on that next step. I could write, I could edit the articles that came in from the writers, but to take them really to the next step and match them with countries or present these destinations that are very different, I felt that piece was missing. And if I could go on my own, I could be very honest and upfront and not be promoting somebody else's destinations or promoting somebody else's properties, but ones that I felt were a truly good match for my ideals and my clients' ideals.
I absolutely understand you, agree with you. And I'm trying lately always outline that I'm not working for any real estate company, for any even immigration like specific office. Like I can find if people need, because I'm working in the same direction. I know people, I have more time now to consider, to trust, to look to the connection. But in order to be really independent and help our customers, we need to be fully independent, meaning we need to be self-employed with all ups and downs of this particular destiny, destiny, I would say. And I read your book, like small booklet, with the title 20 Mistakes to Avoid When Relocating to a New Country. Very good, like solid job, down to the earth, practical advices. What do you think are the top 3 mistakes new expats make and how they can overcome them? So, from 20 known and maybe even more mistakes, the main 3 which would define success, or I would say mood and disappointment from expats.
One, I think, and I mean, this is a mistake we made, but when we left, it was under different circumstances too, is not learning some of the language before you go. But we did not know we were going to end up in Mexico. We had a few different countries we had planned on visiting, so we didn't focus in on one language specifically. So I think if you know where you're going to go or have a good idea, start learning some of the language. Even I highly suggest things like learning numbers, food items, because markets and going to restaurants is probably where you're going to spend a lot of your time in the beginning. So I think that's a big mistake people don't make. And then along with the language issue is assuming or expecting that everybody is going to speak English or know some sort of English. And I think that's a dangerous and bad assumption to make. And I think not learning any of the language is also, I do feel, disrespectful. I'm a guest in Mexico. They have opened their arms to me and welcomed me here. It's the least I can do to try and learn some of the language. Is it easy? No. It's hard learning another language, especially as we get older. I wish I would have paid better attention in school and I should be fluent in French, but I'm not. So I think that's a big one is the language. Another one is not doing homework. So not learning customs, not understanding where you're going, what those people are going to expect you to act like, because Americans and Canadians, even though we're very similar, we still do act differently, and we act differently than Mexicans do. So the way we may act in public or respond to people, they may find rude. Mexicans are very polite. They say good morning. They say good morning to you when you walk by people on the street. You should say buenos dias. Even if you do not know who they are, you greet people. When you see them, you say, hola, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? You ask, how are you? And then you ask your question. Otherwise, you're considered rude. You don't just say no, you say, no, gracias. No, thank you. You don't know, or I don't. They're very polite. So I think not learning the culture before you go or some of those little idiosyncrasies is a mistake that people can make, because that can also help you blend into the culture and settle a little bit better. And I think another big one is not having realistic expectations.
It's hard to get realistic expectation when, like for many people, when in best case they were just traveling and now they experiencing the life. How you can, and I'm speaking about realistic expectation, how people can get realistic expectation without touching the ground.
I still travel. I'm a big advocate of travel and long-term travel and going to different countries to help you understand different cultures better and realize not everybody thinks the way that you do. And traveling really is the best way to get those expectations in reality. But I think too, along with those expectations, don't expect the country that you go to be like the country that you left. And do not take what you left and bring it with you. So leave your politics at home. We can talk politics is a big thing right now, Canadian American politics. When I'm going to a restaurant here in Ahihik, I do not need to listen to another table of people talking about the president or complaining about somebody else's president. I don't want to. Okay, just leave it home. Leave those things you're upset with about your company back home, because not everybody in the restaurant wants to hear you complaining. You're not living there anymore. So I think some of the things need to be left behind.
People care about, they still feel that they citizens of this or other country. And sometimes people, first of all, some people have a lot of free time. They're following the news. There's a lot of excitement, I would say, and drama. And we don't need to watch any movie, especially Hollywood. You have drama here and there every day. So people take sides. And actually, the same, I don't know if it happened. I'm not going a lot to restaurants, but by the way, I like to hear the conversation because I so usually hear kind of people afraid to speak, people just kind of, for me, it's a sign of free society. Even if something negative might come, it's not what I wanted to hear, but people are speaking out. People feel that they can discuss.
And they can, and that's good. So I'll give you an example. And we were sitting in a restaurant. It's a cute, nice little garden, peaceful and calm, and people are enjoying their lunch. It was a little Jewish deli here. And this table came in. They were fairly new to town, I believe. And I'm not trying to bash a certain country, but this is just the scenario that happened. So they were two Americans sat down and they had finished hiking. They were there for lunch. And another American came in and sat down, didn't know these people. He sat down at the table beside them and out of the blue just said, "So what do you think about Trump?" And my husband and I are going there, I don't want to hear this conversation. I don't care if you want to talk about it wherever, and you know what? They didn't want to hear it either. The lady said, "I don't think this is a place that we should be talking politics." So that ended the conversation. And I went, thank you. Because I'm not saying for, against Trump, be aware of your surroundings. I think that's it. We are all here in a nice, peaceful garden. We're just enjoying our lunch, having a lemonade or cerveza, whatever. Please do not bring up this conversation that could really turn bad. Just enjoy the day. Just enjoy the garden. If you want to talk your politics, talk somewhere else.
What I was thinking, listening to you, it's what expat life provided you as well. This kind of outlook, this strong independence and understanding where people should speak and where it's better not to enjoy the moment. Because, yes, sometimes we are too involved. And by the way, I've never seen, living almost 30 years in Canada, such a heated preparation for elections that we will have next Monday. Even like for me, it's all clear. I don't need any discussions. Like, I'm just curious, but I feel in the air that Canadians, which are so peaceful, now heated, maybe not like Americans, but it's a different temperature at home, I would say. But back to you, as someone who focused on self-sufficient communities and liberty-loving living communities, what trends are you noticing on how people choose to live intentionally abroad? Are people are choosing or they falling at some place and starting to make changes?
Yeah, I think a trend, and the world has changed so much, but I think a trend that people really appreciate is the self-sustainable part, where they don't have to rely on food from the grocery store, that they maybe can't, that maybe it is possible that I can live in a community where we have food for our own people. I saw a video the other day and it was quite interesting. And I think it was in Texas. I'm not sure if it was, but it looked like Texas, and the gentleman had a Texan accent. And he was a farmer. And he had decided to scale down his operations. He still had a big farming operation, but not the mass production operation where he had thousands of acres and just one crop. And one of his neighbors said to him, "How are you going to feed the world that way if you're going down to this smaller farm operation?" And he said, "I don't think it's my business to feed the world. I think it's my business to feed my community." So his idea was scaling it down to so he walked people around his property and he said, "This is where my poultry manager lives, and this is where my livestock manager lives, and this is where his gardener lives." And they feed their community. They provide the restaurants, they provide the grocery stores. And I thought, what a cool way to look at it. Instead of, I have to feed the world, I'm one farmer.
Do you know of such communities in Mexico? Expat coming to Mexico and forming like eco living, sustainable living, intentional communities. Are you in touch with such projects?
There's some I've seen and just touched base with, none that I would really promote at this time that I'm comfortable enough with to know if they're doing everything properly or in safe zones. But I do know around the lake where we are, like, there's a lot of farming around the lake. There's a lot of, the berries come from here, the produce comes from here, cheese, that type of thing, the chickens. There's a lot of local production for the food.
So, what questions people are asking you when they're looking for the freedom-loving communities, and how they defining this freedom for themselves, for you, and the like-minded people? We discussed it a couple of times, and I'm still thinking. So, how they explain what they're looking for? The question, if they know exactly and can define what kind of community they are looking for when they're searching for the freedom-loving community.
And everybody's different, right? Everybody has a different idea of what they want. But I think a lot of the ones that I speak to are more the libertarian type mindset. They're looking for something that has low governance. I get questions about places that have low EMF. So the 5G is becoming a concern for people. CBDCs, if countries are implementing CBDCs, I get those questions. Residency, of course, is a big one because can you stay? You may love somewhere. Okay, this great community maybe is starting up in Spain, but can I stay in Spain? So residency is a huge one that people really need to take into consideration.
But speaking about community itself, residents like immigration rules, it's important part. But when they're looking for certain project, yes, or community, how they explain what they're looking for?
Yeah, and community for one, and certain things that they like to do. And I said it's different for everybody. People still want the coffee shops or the little places they can go and hang out, places they can go play if they're musicians, that they can go play music, make music, sit around and jam together. So I have questions like that. It's very individual for people, but the community is a big one, and what amenities are available. Homeschooling is one as well. That's a big shift that people are leaning toward. Can I homeschool my children?
And for people like 50 plus years old, like when children are not concerned, people probably asking about medical facility or
Mobility. I do have to say the sidewalks in Mexico are atrocious. Where we live here, the sidewalk, I think it's more, the most dangerous thing we face every day is crossing the street or walking on the sidewalk. The sidewalks are not good. If you have mobility issues, that can be a problem. With people who are 50 plus, for some of them, not all of them, mobility is a concern.
okay, so they can move maybe to the different community or part of the city or different place where it's like road.
Yeah, like even assisted living type of spaces. And those are something that's very popular here. There's one that just opened that friends of ours moved into, and they pay, yeah, they just moved into it. Her husband was starting to fall a lot. And in Mexico, there's lots of stairs. So they wanted something that was all on one level, where they could not, it's not a nursing home, but there's care there all the time. They get 3 meals a day made for them. Someone comes in and cleans for them. If they want to be driven anywhere for appointments, medical appointments, if they need medications, they will take them to do that. And the name of the festival is escaping my mind, but Cohetes, I think it's St. Andrew's week. Cohetes, which are the fireworks, go off here like almost 24/7 and drive some people crazy. They put them on a bus and they take them somewhere nicer and somewhere in Mexico that's more quiet to get them away from the noise. And it's one fee. They pay one fee, includes everything. It includes the rent, their food, their utilities, cleaning, everything. It was just renovated. I haven't seen it yet. They just moved in April 1st, but she wishes they would have moved into it sooner.
No, it's nice to know and keep eye on this because it's what people need. So, Charlotte, as somebody who is already reinvented herself and her career several times, like you, what does reinvention look like for you moving forward? Or I would say, where will Liberty Travel Coach be over the next few years, professionally and maybe personally?
I'm looking to implement retreats. I've discussed that with you a little bit. So I have 3 retreat ideas in mind. And one is for people looking to escape the winter that have not left their country. So probably Canadians, Americans, or those living in other Nordic countries. They're just done with winter, but they don't know where to go. They haven't left, which is it even possible to escape winter? Because I know being Canadian, that was a mind shift for me. Was I thought winter is winter. That's part of being Canadian. It's what makes me resilient. It's what makes me strong. And I had never left the country in the winter before because I didn't understand it. Why do people, what is this snowbird thing? Why do they leave?
You were not enough strong yet. You were not yet enough strong.
I wasn't what, 30 yet. And then I left Canada in the winter in April, which where I lived in Alberta was still winter. And we went to Tennessee. We took my parents to Graceland. I wanted to take my mom to see Grace. She was a big Elvis fan. And the weather was so beautiful. And they were cutting the grass and mowing the lawn, and you could smell the fresh cut grass, and the sun was so warm. And I thought, now I get it. Now I understand why Canadians leave 6 months of the year to get away from it, because I had to go back to it. And so it's the idea of leave the country in the winter, come down here and experience this incredible climate, the best climate in the world, in my opinion, second best, but that I've experienced. Come down and just see what it's like. Take a break from that winter, because winter, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you get older, that you're stuck sitting inside because you don't want to go outside and slip on the sidewalks or fall going to get your groceries, or you don't want to shovel anymore. Take a break from it, and you will not believe how good it feels to take a break from it. So that's one.
So your retreats are actually for the 3 months, or how long they can be?
I'm still fleshing that out. I've heard they should be at least 3 weeks. They should be at least 5 weeks. They should be 5 days. So I'm still fleshing it out. I'm working on my program and my itineraries right now. And the other one is an international retreat. So I want to explore different freedom destinations, countries that have value freedom or have these projects that you and I have discussed before on intentional communities that are already in the making and going, and taking people to those countries, immersing them in the community, seeing, is this a place you'd want to live? So exploring different countries like that. And then another one is more geared towards actually locals who want to retreat from the heat in April and May. And they're just like, please take me somewhere cooler. I'm cooking here in Mexico, and we can maybe find a cooler destination in Mexico during April and May. And I have a few of those on my radar I'm looking into. So I want it to be, that's my idea, to have these 3 retreats a year. And I'll also do one-on-one coaching. It'll be exclusive, so I may not have 12 to 15 clients a month. It may be 3 clients. That it's retreat-based focus, but I will do the one-on-one, but on a more exclusive basis.
So what's the next freedom destination that you're not just visiting, but maybe planning, considering to live and understand how it works and community-wise, what it might be?
Now, have I visited this country or have I not visited this country?
Like, you're free to select. from my question. No, let's do two. One which you visited and want to go back to live, and one that I'm speaking about freedom destination, not just travel destination. Yes, and one that you just open to discover.
Okay, so the one I'm very open to discover, and I think you already know this answer. I'm still very curious about Montenegro. Very curious about Montenegro. There is a intentional freedom community there already that's being built, and they're working on it. So you see progress going. There's buildings going up. There's people living there. It's close to a main city, I think 15 minutes out, Montenegro. And I'm very interested in what they're doing there in as a project in the libertarian, the free cities movement. From what I hear about Montenegro, because I haven't been there before, that they were very freedom oriented as well. So that is good. And I love the country looks beautiful. I love mountains. I love water. It's got both. It has a Mediterranean climate. Winters are supposed to be cooler, but I can deal with cooler. That's okay, just not snow. So that's okay. And I've heard there is a healthy expat community there, but I think you really have to go and experience it yourself to see if what you hear is accurate, because everybody has a different perception when they go to a country, different things that they're looking for. Residency also is, because I know that's a big thing I hear from people and from clients and things, nightmare residency stories they're going through in countries now. That's almost not Montenegro's easy. From what I understand, it's quite easy to get residency. So that's a big draw for clients as well. You can set up a business and get your residency. It has to be renewed every year, but the regulations or the restrictions are very easy to maintain if you set up a business. You have freedom to come and go in the country as you will. You set yourself up as a director. You pay yourself the minimum salary. You have a legitimate company. Income tax is low. I think it's 9 to 15%. It offers the freedom to also be in Europe. I really enjoy Europe, and I think because I have a European background, I feel at home there because people look like me. That's one thing. I don't look like a Mexican. I may have a nice tan now, but I don't look like a Mexican. You're at home, but you realize you're still a foreigner. And I love Europe. I love the buildings, the history, and Montenegro has the history. And
So are you learning language already? Are you learning language? Serbian?
no, I'm not learning Serbian. I not right now. I have to visit first and see if some people are like, no, just give me residency. I'll worry about it when I get there. And I recommend people go first. I can't tell you what to do, but I recommend people go first. And I want to go first to see is it as good as it looks to me on paper on the computer? Then I can start learning.
So what time do you think it's enough for you to live in community? And Montenegro, it's not big country, like at least months to get this feeling if it's a place for you to, for the future home.
I think minimum it's best if somebody goes somewhere for a month. I know if you're somewhere for 2 weeks, and when I say go, I don't go to a resort. Don't go stay on a resort because that is not visiting a country. You can put someone on a resort in Mexico. You can put someone on a resort in Jamaica or Cuba. What's the difference?
It's a Disneyland for Americans, as they say in Canadians.
It's not what the country is like. So don't go to a resort. Another thing that I suggest people look at is do house sits, because then you get right in a community. You're not even staying in a hotel or you're not staying in an Airbnb. It really integrates you into the community to see what it's like. You need to know what it's like to get groceries. You need to know how the people react to foreigners. And I've heard, and Europe can be like this. Even Germany, I've spent a lot of time in Germany. It's not as warm as Mexico. Like the people are more withdrawn. And they're not as, good morning, hello, how are you? It's not the same. It's different here.
But Montenegro, it will be more close to Mexico rather than Germany. I'm telling you, like Eastern Europe, for you just need to get this vibe. And by the way, you're good prepared from Mexican mentality to be in Montenegro and Eastern Europe. And the mentality, it's all together, mañana with zest for life.
Yeah, good, good. And it sounds really good to what we're interested in. So I'm very curious to check out Montenegro. Now, there's a lot of countries I've been to that I love, and to me, it almost seems when you're in a country, this is my favorite one. When you're in Italy, oh, I love Italy. This just is, I don't want to go anywhere else. And you go to Portugal, oh, I love Portugal. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't know if you feel that way. That's the way I feel anytime I travel. So
So the first time when you in discovery mode, as they say, and you go to the nice places, historical, obviously Europe, it's full of treasures.
but the honeymoon ends and realistic reality sets in, and this isn't just a vacation. You're going to see, can I live here? And some place that I really like Portugal. My husband and I really enjoyed Portugal, mainland Portugal, when we were there. There was a town called Nazaré that I wish we would have spent more time in. It seemed the manana type idea. It was very calm, laid back, right on the ocean, beautiful, affordable. Tamar is another town that we stayed in Portugal. We were there for 3 days. And every time I go somewhere, I look around and say, can I live here? So we usually go sit in the square, have a coffee. That's one of my favorite things to do, just people watch. And I really enjoyed Tamar. It was a very walkable town. It had lots of restaurants. It had historic sites. Some people say, well, there's not much in Tamar. What's there to do? But when you're living there, you're not necessarily always just looking for what's the next big attraction I can go to. And what I like about Tamar too, it's close to Lisbon. So if you want to get close to a city, you can go. But it just had that nice small town, laid back feel, but also the old world European charm. And we found the people were friendly and happy to help. Yeah. And yeah, we enjoyed that area.
Many people dream of new life abroad, but still dreaming because they're afraid to leap. And there is a lot of uncertainty. But what advice would you give someone standing at the crossroads between their current life and the possibility of starting fresh in a new country?
I think you need to look at what's your number one reason for wanting to go. And you have to determine, what is it that's holding you back? What is that one thing that's preventing you from taking that leap? I know what I hear from people prevent something that stops them, or they can't leave their grandchildren. I can't leave my grandbabies. That's a big one. And I don't have grandchildren yet. So
Some people cannot leave parents, elderly parents.
yes, really, that's the biggest one, the grandparents, the family. And it's a big one. It's a tough one, missing family. So if you are that person, I think if that's your number one reason for you really want to go, but that's holding you back, I'd say consider Mexico, really, because it's there again, the springboard. It's close to United States. It's close to Canada. Like, you can get back to the States on a 2-hour flight. For us, one of the reasons we're here instead of over on Europe is saying our son is in British Columbia. We're still on the same piece of dirt. It's a massive piece of dirt,
No, it's a continent.
but mentally, that's helped me be here.
Yes, I agree. That's why I selected Mexico with all my love to Europe. And by the way, I might be close to get European passport. I'm waiting for the letters, but I'm still here because my children are here.
And it's tough. And technology has made it much easier. We have a Zoom call with our son every Sunday night. We talk for our 40 minutes on our free Zoom thing, and that's good. Where we were in Canada, and it's with this way with a lot of families now, we were so spread out. We were in Calgary, or we had family in Regina. My husband's wife, that's me. My mother-in-law was in Regina. Our son and my brother were out on Vancouver and Vancouver Island, and we were stuck in the middle. We were like 800 kilometers away from everybody, if not further. I think I looked and it was 937 kilometers to my son's door or something. So it still was a full day to either drive, and you actually usually stop overnight because going through the mountains takes longer, or you have to fly. So what does it matter if we're in Calgary or if we're in Mexico? Because it would still be a full day travel to get to see anyone. So that's how we viewed it. And Yeah, the family, it's a hard, and I miss family. That's the only thing I miss about Canada is my family. There is nothing else I miss, honestly.
I wanted to be offended, but I'm
And if I offend somebody, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I shouldn't say sorry if I'm not sorry. But
no, life is moving forward. Many people, when I'm thinking, and I know people who were speaking for years about, oh, probably we need to relocate. It might be economical condition. It might be they don't see future for themselves or for retirement, really tired to shovel the snow. And people afraid of unknown. And even there is a lot of videos, and you can find information, you can find coach, you can find the webinars, free webinars, people who are ready to help you. I would say for some people, maybe it's not their lifestyle. Maybe it's for them just to travel and that's it. But for others, and I hear a lot of concern in communities like where we would go and how we will retire. And I'm so let's do something. Let's at least to learn what we need to do and how we need to consider. Because even from my experience, like I relocated, like fully immigrated, not relocated twice, I would say today experience is different. Obviously, my previous experience helping me to reevaluate things and giving different perspective, but today is many things are changing very quickly. And some people they afraid to get out of the comfort zone. Let's be open. Or because they've had pretty traumatic experience getting papers and starting their life and going specifically like for Canada, which is pretty expensive country to get to this to climb the ladder, I would say. I understand because I was not exactly but in the same condition. So what you would say for such people?
nobody knows the future. If you don't make any changes, you know your future's not going to change. If you are stuck in that rut thinking that,
No, they're relying on government. They're waiting now. Oh, it will be new when I'm speaking. And they look, let's see. Like it will be election, and I will go to election. I will do my duty because I really care for Canada to be better place, at least as I remember it like 20 years ago. But people relying on government or
stop relying on the government to take care of you and stop expecting they are going to take care of you and stop thinking they care about you because they don't. The government of Canada does not care about me.
they promised a lot now. I've never heard such a promises. I don't know what budget you need to have from what to implement at least half of all this. What is promised?
Yeah, people need to stop expecting the government to answer all their to solve their problems because from my experience the government is the
We have
government puts you in the situation you're in right now. So how are they going to fix it? They're the ones who've destroyed the economy right now. So why do people think
they hope for another government, another leaders, another. Okay, things are changing. I would say, hope for the best, but we need to be vigilant and have our plan B anyway. I wish it will be good. I wish people will really not to leave their homes because it's not the easy thing, not families and because every relocation is actually stress, but it depends how you look at this. If you look at the process of reinvention and try something new in life. And I understand that with age, it's not so easy. And I'm working on myself as well. And I'm not yet learning language as I'm supposed to do. But
I thought that life would get easier when you get older and it's not. It doesn't get easier. That was a misconception I had growing up. Oh, when you get older, life will be easier. It's not. You still have lots of decisions and lots of problems and things happen that you don't expect. It, it's not easy.
no, I was not expecting it will be easy, but I can tell you a little bit out of topic that I'm happier now than I was 10 years ago or than I was 20 years ago when I was working full time, making actually good salary and It was different period of time, like raising children and all this. It was really grind. But and I think what age is giving you, the problems are not disappearing, but it's up to you which problem you select to be a problem.
And which ones you can let go of and say, not my problem. Yeah.
Yes, it's what you did in restaurant, and I fully commend you. And it's actually what you're trying to do now. You're building your new life, your new business. You're already different Charlotte versus Charlotte, which arrived 3 years ago. And I believe when we are working on ourselves, when we're learning new skills, when we are open to the changes, it would make us active, young, regardless of what age we are. And if we continue to do, obviously, we need to have a boundaries. We need to not to be exhausted and maybe know where to stop. It's I'm telling to myself. But in age of reinvention, I believe we have many opportunities, many possibilities, and not always we need a lot of money to travel. We need some, but we can organize our life around our priorities at certain stage of life. And I think it was enough for today. I was enjoying our conversation as usual. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Emily.
And I wish I we will be traveling this summer. You will be in Germany and Montenegro. I will be in Argentina and Uruguay, which I decided to take a trip to compare, and two different countries. They're pretty interesting to me, both open for expat life, but offering different lifestyle, I would say. So let's reconnect in September, October after all these experiences and speak again. Thank you. Thank you. All the best. Wow. What an inspiring and insightful conversation with Charlotte. Her life story is a powerful reminder that relocating is not just about changing your location. It's about transforming your perspective, embracing freedom, and finding a life that aligns with your values. If Charlotte's journey has sparked something in you, whether it's curiosity, excitement, or questions about what your own freedom destination could look like, don't hesitate to take the next step. You can learn more about Charlotte's work and resources at her website, libertytravelcoach.com, and I will include the link below. If today's conversation resonated with you, please reach out. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, remember, every big leap starts with a single step. We are here to help you make your relocation journey an adventure, to reinvent yourself, to be open to life around. See you on the next episode.